Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of my kitchen table reflection. Today is the 12th Sunday in the ordinary time, which means that we have returned back to the ordinary season in the church's calendar. Now, I want to begin by asking you a question, and it may sound ridiculous, but I want to ask you, have you ever been criticized in your life? I bet your answer is going to be, yes, of course, I've been criticized in my life. And if I should ask you, are you still breathing? You probably laugh because you are watching this video right now because you are alive. See, there seems to be a correlation between being criticized and living. But I think it is part of being human. And I think that's what characterizes the life of people who we call prophets. I mean, think about the ancient Jewish prophets. Their life was full of criticisms. They weren't popular at that time. And so today, as we listen to our first reading from Prophet Jeremiah, we can hear the depth of his pain of being criticized in his life. And we can see that that didn't hinder him from speaking truth to power. Now, the thing is that in the ancient Jewish consciousness, in ancient Israel, when a prophet speaks of justice, they speak of justice in ways of ordering a world so that everybody anywhere could have what they need for their own flourishing. Not just a selected few, but everybody anywhere. So when a prophet comes into a system, a world, a society, a community where things aren't ordered in a way that encourages everyone flourishing, when they come into such a system, they speak against it. That's why they get criticized. That's why they're not popular. People don't like them because they speak truth to power. And so when I think about the word of the prophets and being criticized on what it meant for them, I realized any prophet is not afraid. They are not shy of speaking truth to power because they believe that there could be a better world. They believe that there could be a better system. They believe that there could be a better world that gears towards human flourishing. So that they wouldn't want people to be denied of what they need for their flourishing. That's why they spoke against kings. That's why many of them were killed. Because they believe in justice. The justice that could usher in a new world. And I want you to know that the prophets believe that a new world will not happen if we do not name what is wrong, what is dysfunctional, what is broken in the present world. When you think about our world today and what is happening today, it feels like we need prophetic voice more than ever. We need those voices more than ever today. We need voices that will speak to our consciences. We need voices that will rise us up for change in our world. We need those voices. And this cannot happen. We cannot welcome this new world that will be good for everyone. A new system that will be good for everyone if we do not name what is wrong, broken in the present world, in the present system. Every one of us, we all want to flourish. We all want to live. We all want to thrive. We all want to live with wonder and awe. I believe that's God's intention for all of us. For every one of us. But for us to do that, we must undergo what is called a shift in the way we see things. I remember when I was studying philosophy back in the days, I think it was in my second year studying philosophy that I read this book called The Structure of Scientific Revolution by Thomas Kuhn. And Thomas Kuhn was saying that before a scientific revolution could happen, there must have to be what he called a paradigm shift. He popularized that phrase, paradigm shift. For him, paradigm shift happens when people come to that point in their life when they are honest and they acknowledge that the present paradigm doesn't work anymore. The present paradigm is so full of holes and patches that people are barely holding it together with duct tapes, and they said, no, this cannot work anymore, that a total overhaul is what is needed. And when that overhaul happens, a new paradigm is welcome. And in the process of dumping what is broken in the present paradigm to welcoming a new paradigm, the process happens in the space of what he calls a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift cannot happen without you having a paradigm shift in consciousness. So when a prophet speaks truth to power, when a prophet speaks of a new word, when a prophet speaks of ushering in a new world where things could be ordered so that everybody anywhere could have what they need for their own flourishing. They are not under the boot of this or of oppression. They are not being marginalized. They are not relegated to the background. They are not crying out for help, asking for the basic needs of their survival. When a prophet speaks against a system in that way, they believe that they could usher in this new world. When we have a change in our consciousness, that's why I call it the prophetic paradigm of change. There is some kind of paradigmatic shift that needs to happen in our heart. There is some kind of paradigmatic shift that needs to happen in our consciousness. There is some kind of paradigmatic shift that needs to happen in the way that we relate with one another, in the way that we are open to make a lasting change in our world. There needs to be a paradigmatic shift in our consciousness. But I must say it to you, that you may pay a price for speaking truth to power. You may pay a price for speaking for justice in our world. Justice where things are ordered for everybody anywhere so that they could flourish as a human being. You may pay a price. Which brings me to Prophet Jeremiah from our first reading. He is a prophet. He spoke truth to power. Gee, was he criticized. People didn't like him because his message was uncomfortable for people. That's why he was called the prophet of doom, because his message was pretty much, gloom and doom. So he was unpopular, and people criticized him. They attacked him. They spoke ill words about him. Tried to kill him. And today he said, I hear so many disparaging me, terror from every side. Denounce him, let us denounce him. All those who used to be my friend have denounced me. Yeah, that is the pain from the heart. That's what he speaks, because he spoke truth to power. All those who used to be his friends have denounced him. Terror from every side. People are attacking him. And you think that he will stop. He said no. Because if you read on, he said, but I know that my God is on my side. He will protect me. He will fight for me. He gives me strength. So he wouldn't shy away from that. You see, when I fast forward to our gospel reading today to hear what Jesus said to his disciples, it made me realize that this is part of our life. I would even argue this is part of what it means to be a Christian. Jesus said to his disciples, Do not fear, for whatever that is covered will be uncovered. Whatever that is hidden will be made clear. Whatever you hear in the dark, speak in the open. What you hear in whispers, proclaim from the housetops. Now, in ancient Jewish consciousness, a housetop is the most visible place where a proclamation could be made in a town or a village. So there is a sense of openness. From the housetops, things becomes clear. A light is being shed on it. And I think with what we are experiencing in our world today, I think there is this truth that is being spoken from the housetops of our heart. We cannot shy away from it. We cannot deny it. We cannot ignore it. And this truth, we know that something needs to be done in our world today. But we also know that if you speak up, you may actually get criticized. Or you may even get attacked. I've gotten my fair share of criticism even by doing this kitchen table reflection. Oh yeah. I've gotten my own criticism. It's not gonna make me shy away from speaking up from what I believe is true. Jesus was raging against an oppressive system in his time. And that got him killed by the state and the religious authority of his time. Jesus died for speaking truth to power, for raging against an oppressive system, for championing the preferential option for the poor. Yeah, it cost him his life. You see, friends, sometimes people feel uncomfortable about the truth because they are benefiting from a system. There is always somebody somewhere benefiting from a dysfunctional system. Yeah. And so I find it bizarre and very damaging when I hear some people say, I'm not political. I just want to talk about Jesus and how I love God. I'm like, as opposed to what? That where did you get the idea that politics is against the gospel, the good news of Christ? What do you think politics means? The word politics is from the Greek word politikos, which is basically how we order our world, society, for the flourishing of everyone. Yeah, a gospel message that does not have a cosmic change is not gospel message at all. Why do you think Jesus was standing up for the poor? Because if any good news does not affect how people live and move and breathe and flourish in the world, then that's not good news at all. The truth will set you free. But as Ross said, it will first and foremost make you miserable. So, my dear friend, I know you may not have the capacity to say what you want, but I do know that you can do something in your own inner circle. I know that you can start changing the way you see things in the world. I know that you can start changing the way you talk about certain things around your inner circle. About the way you prejudge people, we can change those things in our world today. But I also want you to know that in doing that, be ready to be criticized. Be ready to lose some friends. Be ready to get attacked. Be ready to be called all sorts of names. But know that bad things happen when good people refuse to do something. And when you choose to be silenced in the face of oppression or injustice in the world. And so, May ye rise up for change in our world today. Amen.